Okay, for today we're going to be looking at rectangular prism. So yesterday we talked about prism. Prism, as a matter of fact, let me write the word down. Prism. Prism, what it is that it has two bases, one on top, one at the bottom, and then the sides are always rectangles. Yesterday we talked about triangular prisms. Today we're going to talk about rectangular prisms. So what I mean with rectangular prism is that the base are going to be rectangles. It's not always standing up though. The prisms are not always standing up. So what I'm going to do here, let me identify the base. Now, when the base is a rectangle, I'm gonna help you guys out by marking the 490-degree corners. So let me actually highlight the base, which is this one. So I know the bases are two rectangles, right? There's two bases, one on top, one at the bottom. So matter of fact, to highlight the other one, because like I said, there's two bases, you guys can see them right there. Now, for a rectangle, I have to find a 90-degree corner. I'm gonna choose this one. I see that the two numbers that meet at that corner are 3 and 6, and I'm gonna multiply those two out. For a rectangle, let me multiply the two numbers that meet at the 90-degree corner. 3 times 6, which is 18. Each of my rectangles is 18. Now, because the base has 4 sides, I'm gonna have 4 rectangles in the center, right? If this was a room, the base has 4 sides, I have 4 walls. So the amount of sides the base has is how many rectangles we have in the center. Yesterday, our base had 3 sides, right? We were dealing with triangles. We had 3 rectangles in the center. Today, our base has 4 sides, so 4 rectangles. If our base had 5 or 6 sides, guess what? 5 or 6 rectangles in the center. Okay, so for the rectangles in the center, I must know the 4 measurements, the 4 sides of my base. I know one side is 3, 6, 3, and 6. So I must know the 4 sides of my base. Let me look for the distance between the bases, right? The number that has nothing to do with my rectangles. In this case, 4. That's what we call the height. The reason why, because if I stand it on one of the bases, that's the height of my solid. So the height is 4. I'm going to multiply 4 times each side of my base. So 4 times 3, 4 times 6, 4 times 3, and 4 times 6. 4 times each side of my base. So let me add all these things up. I have 108. Right? I added everything and it gives me 108. If I have decimals, round it to 1 decimal place. All right, let's take a look at question number 21. Let me identify the base. There's 2 of them, but I'm just gonna find one of them. And my base is a rectangle. Sometimes my base might be a square, okay? Squares are rectangles as well. So I have 2 bases, and I know for rectangles, I must find a 90-degree corner. I'm gonna use this one. The 2 numbers that meet at that corner are 6 and 8. So I'm gonna go 6 times 8. I know 6 times 8 is 48. So each of my rectangles is 48. I know yesterday when we were dealing with triangles, we divided by 2 because a triangle is half of a rectangle. Today we're dealing with rectangles, so no dividing by 2. The base has 4 sides, so I'm gonna have 4 rectangles in the center. For my rectangles in the center, I must know the measurements of the sides of my rectangle, of the base, which are 6, 8, 6, and 8. Let me find the height of the solid, the number that has nothing to do with my bases, which in this case, 6. I'm gonna multiply 6 times each side. So 6 times 6, 6 times 8, 6 times 6, and 6 times 8. Now, just let me add everything. And I happen to get 264. Two bases and then rectangles in the center. Because the base has 4 sides, I have 4 rectangles in the center. Let's take a look at question number 22. Let me identify the base. We can see it is right here. Base is a rectangle, so I'm gonna have 2 rectangles. The two measurements of that rectangle are 10 and 4. So 10 times 4, right? Those are the numbers that meet at this 90-degree corner. So 10 times 4, I'm gonna say each of my bases is 40. Because the base has 4 sides, I have 4 walls in the center. For those walls, for those rectangles, I need to know the measurements of my rectangle, which are 10, 4, 10, and 4. Let me find the number that has nothing to do with my rectangles. That's what we call the height. In this case, 7. 7 times each side of the base. So 7 times 4, 7 times 10, 7 times 4, and 7 times 10. Now let me add everything. And I get 276. All right, let's take a look at number 23. The base is right here. Remember, I help you guys by highlighting the 4 90-degree corners. Remember, I said a squared is a rectangle. I'm going to say the area of these rectangles are 1. Because when I look at a 90-degree corner, the two measurements at that corner, the meet at that corner are 1 and 1. And when I multiply those, 1 times 1 is 1. Now the base has 4 sides, so guess what? 4 walls. Let me find the measurement of each side of my base, which are 1, 1, 1, and 1. The height, the number has nothing to do with my base, is 2. And I'm going to multiply 2 times each side of my base. So 2 times 1, 4 times. Now add everything. This case, I'm going to get 10. My surface area is 10. All right, let me zoom out.